Hi, I'm Leyla Savade. Welcome to the Lightstyle interview series. Today I've got Casey Clark and Julie Fogg. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks. We're so excited about this.
Julie and Casey are entrepreneurs, voice and speech coaches, and empowerment activists. I'm so excited to shine a light on you guys today.
Thanks.
So excited to be here.
So tell us a little bit about yourselves. Where did you grow up? How did this all come about? What was the genesis of this all?
I came to New York a little over 10 years ago to be on Broadway. Total small town girl moves to the big city cliche. I got to do a couple of off-Broadway musicals. I went on tour with Les Miserables for a while. And then I came back and went, I don't have a steady job as a professional actor anymore, and I need to figure out how to make money. And at the same time, I read this book called Half the Sky that is about the plight of women around the world, particularly in developing countries. And it really lit a fire in me in a way that I hadn't felt in a long time. And at the same time, I got an interview that I thought was for a singing teacher position, and it happened that they needed a speech coach. And I went, I guess I could do that, sure. And I kind of met my future in that moment. I started working with clients who wanted to express ideas in the world and were having a little trouble doing that for whatever reason. They were lacking confidence, or they were not liking how they sounded, or they just weren't feeling good about it. And I got to use all of the skills that I had as a theater artist to help them put their voices out into the world. And around the same time, I met Julie, and the rest is history.
I love it.
Yeah. So I am from Seattle. I am from a Scandinavian background, and if you have ever been to Scandinavia,
Yes.
you know that we're fairly reticent people. So most of my childhood was spent, not that we're, don't talk or speak up, but it's
Introvert.
keep your own counsel,
Yeah.
very much. That was a core family value. I also loved acting and got involved in doing acting, but I was really struggling with some of what felt like a barrier between myself and the world. As I got into acting, I had a really hard time letting emotion, expression, that sort of thing shine through. I ended up getting my MFA in acting with a really incredible teacher named Catherine Gately, who she can zone in and see your soul. And she brought out all of this stuff that was very much me, just the me that I had not let the world see yet. Part of that process was studying voice, and I fell in love with that there are actual ways to work with your body to let yourself shine through. And I found out that I was also very good with my classmates of helping them release those things as well. So after I graduated, I moved to New York, did a little bit more studying with the Fitzmaurice voice technique. I got my certification in that, and started teaching undergrads, and started working with private clients, and getting to use that skill of I see you and I'm going to help you see you is frankly the biggest thrill that I can experience, even more so for me than being on stage, which I don't have a strong drive for anymore. But I love being in a coaching room. I love it so much. So that's my background.
And so how did you guys meet?
Well,
We like to say that we met doing empowerment aerobics. Affirmation aerobics. It's actually a program called Shrink Session with Erin Stutland, who is an amazing teacher and an amazing human. So you basically do like powerful moves and to say things like, I can feel my power, and it sounds a little cheesy, but it is the most amazing thing.
So much fun.
It's so good. It's so good.
It's called Intensati.
That's how I was introduced to it.
Yep.
I love it. Okay.
So Erin also was running simultaneously like a goal-setting program, and so we came to a meetup and ended up forming like a lady accountability group, and did this dance for a while of, she's an actor and a voice coach and is doing private coaching and stuff, and I'm an actor and a voice coach. Does she see me as competition? Because I don't see her as competition, but I just want to make. And we finally did the thing of like, oh, we're good. Okay, yeah. And And it literally was basically that.
I love it.
And then we found out that we shared so many of the same frustrations around the traditional means of speech coaching and the traditional methods of speech coaching, which tend to be very much about homogenizing voices. Strip everything that would betray your background, that would betray where you're from, that would show any sort of quirks or individualism, and put on your serious voice, and we'll teach you how to put on your serious voice. And it's
the worst way to
It's
access.
horrible.
It really is.
It's horrible.
Yeah, you're putting on a mask.
You're putting
Exactly.
on a mask. And what is really intriguing and makes people want to listen to you is when you drop into all of those quirks and all of those
Your authenticity.
your authenticity,
Absolutely.
which includes good and bad things,
Everything.
Yes.
and that's fine.
Yeah.
But there is no other way around it. You have to drop in. Yeah.
Yeah. So we really developed Vital Voice Training, our company, around this idea of helping people to access all the range that they possess in their voice, to feel comfortable in their body when they're communicating, to use the skills that we have from the theater world, and to also use our backgrounds as speech coaches to help them live and communicate more authentically. And the transformations that we've gotten to see in the people that we've worked with have been just amazing.
Yeah,
Just
that's what keeps us going. And being an entrepreneur is not the easiest thing in the world,
No.
but I would not trade any of what we have experienced at all.
When did you realize you wanted to bring your light out into the world?
I love that question.
Yeah.
I, unlike Julie, grew up in a very extroverted family, and I have been performing in front of people basically since I could make noise. My very first solo in the church that I grew up going to was when I was 4, and I, frankly, and it took me a long time to not be ashamed to say this, I enjoy the spotlight. I like it. And not from a sense of like, I need everyone to look at me, but like, I know I have a desire to share stories with the world.
Your light.
And that's what I've always loved doing. Now, for me, it was figuring out how to do that truly for the love of the stories and not because I needed approval from anybody else. So that's been the journey. I never, I think, felt like I needed to hide my light under a bushel, as my Southern Baptist upbringing would cause me to say, but figuring out why that light needed to be in the world has been the journey, definitely.
I think for me there's a couple different angles. Going back to the Danish thing, there's an expression that loosely translates to the tallest flower gets chopped.
Wow.
And it's a cultural thing. Like you don't rise above other people around you. And I didn't realize, I studied abroad in Denmark when I was an undergrad, and I finally realized, oh, that makes sense. I totally get that. But through acting training, the other side of it is getting to experience a whole range of emotions. For me, it was really being afraid of being angry that kept everything held back. So I am no longer afraid of being angry. People watch me ride my bike down a New York street. And once that got out of the way, there was so much more that I wanted to share. And for me, I mean, I could care less about the spotlight. I don't hate it. I don't love it. And I think I often thrust Casey into it. I'm just like, I don't want to do it.
And sometimes I thrust you right back. Sometimes I'm like, no, it's your turn.
I love your dynamic. It's amazing.
The experience for me is a kind of a problem solving and breaking apart those pieces. It was so meaningful to me to realize that core value that I didn't know I had, plus that block that I didn't know I had.
Yeah.
Once that got out of the way, so much more could shine through, which has very much informed how I go about voice and speech coaching.
Julie is the most intuitive human I've ever met in terms of her ability to see people and to help them understand what's blocking their light. And I think that we approach that idea of a person shining their light from opposite ends helps us to give a really comprehensive view to people and to kind of speak to them in the way that works the best for them, which is a gift that I think we really own.
Yeah, we are two halves of the same brain.
That's true.
often don't even need to verbally check in. We have a look and then
yeah.
I'll say that.
It's telepathic.
It's
Yeah.
telepathic.
And,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, best friends have that, or like sisters or family members, and it's possible to,
Totally.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I feel that too, because we spoke on the phone, and we didn't get a chance to speak until today, but I could feel that, the love that you guys have for another, but and the honor and respect. It's so beautiful, and I love how you guys had that moment where you're like, wait, we're doing the same thing, we're in the same space of work. Can we be friends? You know, and you just surrendered. And
Well, I was actually looking up bios when I was trying to create my own independent business way before we had met, and I found Casey's bio, and I remembered we had met before and reached out. I love your bio. I want to sit down with you.
Oh, that's true. I had forgotten about that. That's so funny.
So it's been a number of synchronicities that have brought us together.
wow.
But I feel like I've learned so much from working with Julie because of coming from the extrovert performer aspect of the world, and learning how to hold space for people, which she is so good at. And it's not that, you know, I come from a family of interrupters. It drives my husband crazy. God bless him. And it's something that I've been working on my whole life, is not doing that, because I know that in my family, it's not a bad thing. It's not a rude thing. It's just we're all so excited to be part of the conversation that everybody kind of ends up talking over each other a little bit. To learn truly to hold space for people and to listen and to be present in that way, not just in the way of I want to participate, but in that I'm okay stepping out and helping you shine brighter, that's been amazing.
And Casey has pretty exceptional skill in doing that. So when she's saying, like, she's got toddler legs going into this arena, that's not the full picture. She's very, very good at it.
Well, it's just as much of holding space is just as much contributing as speaking,
Absolutely.
you know? So
Absolutely.
it's how would you say, it's less of the ego, because like we want to say something and we're attached to saying something, getting our one thing that we want to say out there. But sometimes if you just keep it to yourself, it'll come out at an even better time when it's meant to be and when it can resonate more deeply.
Wouldn't it be great if we all learned how to do that on Facebook?
Especially during the debate.
Ooh. We don't have to get into politics.
The thing about holding space is it really is about, like you said, letting go of ego, and it's staying in the present moment,
Yeah.
which is where charisma exists in the present. So I think that for everyone, the idea that we have about what we want to say is often greater than the value of actually saying it. I know that sounds counterintuitive to being a speech coach, but I think letting go of that ego and of that, wait, but my brilliant moment allows for something even more amazing to happen with the interaction between two human beings or an audience and a speaker.
Yeah.
Well, and the other side of that is that when people are afraid to speak up and they come from the place of, I'm very happy to hold space for others, but stepping into the spotlight is terrifying, just having that acknowledgement that finishing a sentence is an act of bravery.
Yes.
It is, and it's one of the main reasons why we feel like when people talk about things like upspeak or they talk about things like vocal fry, a lot of this comes from either insufficient breath through your sentences or kind of losing your breath at the end of a sentence so that it just kind of drops off, you know what I mean? Or the act of finishing a sentence on a down, the melody of that in American speech means I'm making a statement. In other languages, it doesn't mean that, and so that's another piece of the upspeak puzzle. But learning how to make a statement and let it land.
Right.
And then let it land and sit there is like step
simmer.
2, because we're so afraid of letting something happen and then not controlling it. Learning how to let control go and let perfectionism go as a communicator is so important, and it is an act of bravery.
Yeah.
And we control very physically with our breath. And that's where my specialty comes in, is you see where people hold and you see how they monitor their intake of breath. And breathing is the most natural thing that we have available to us, but people, it makes you vulnerable to breathe your thoughts and to breathe in what's actually happening around you, as opposed to clinging to like a yoga breath or an idea of breath, or our clients who want to be really good breathers because they're really good at everything else they do. It's really amazing the number of physical ways we have adapted to keep ourselves safe.
Speaking of breath, I remember, because I spent some time in a Zen Buddhist monastery. And
that's so cool.
They had this huge gong, right? And anyone could just pick it up and just gong it. But
I want to do that.
But hold on, because you've got to be ready for it, and it has to be a known thing that anytime somebody gongs it, even if you're in the middle, like even if you're in the most heated, beautiful, passionate conversation, you stop and take 3 deep breaths.
I love that.
That's good. We should have a gong in our office.
We should.
I know, like, I think any household should have it. It's amazing. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, breath is, it's so powerful.
Breath is everything. It's how we energetically communicate with each other.
Totally.
And when I was talking about holding patterns, and you were talking about deep breaths, one of the things that's really core in our lessons is people forget that they are 360 degrees. So when people take a deep breath, they very often go, or belly breath, which is just here, neither of which really reflects where your lungs are. So one of the things that we work on a lot with our clients is giving them access to what we call the magic of backspace.
Hashtag the magic of backspace. We have a unicorn. We have a unicorn. It's a whole thing.
That's going into the Instagram.
It's pretty amazing. But your ribs are designed to expand. Your whole body is designed to breathe.
They do this. They float apart. It's beautiful.
Like wings.
Like little wings.
Like little wings.
They are.
Your shoulder blades go like this, and your shoulders don't have to be involved at all. They get to stay relaxed. Everybody thinks that this is part of taking a deep breath, and it's not. It's actually restricting the space that you have to inhale.
Right, because you're,
It's an anxiety breath more than anything.
Yeah.
People have been talking about, I don't mean to go political, but the Trump inhale that is connected to anxiety.
Yep.
Because he just doesn't know. But whereas you see Hillary, you never see her shoulders move or her chest move. She is breathing, and you can see the difference.
It's composure.
As
well.
It's composure, but composure by, in many ways, giving up the control versus trying so hard to hold on to it.
Totally.
Wow.
Totally.
That was a tangent I didn't expect to go on.
That was a beautiful tangent. Tangents is what we live for. That's where the magic comes out, right?
Cheers.
So who would you attest your light to?
My family. 100%.
Yeah.
I've been so fortunate with my mom, my dad, my sister. We're extremely close. My dad taught me everything about integrity and what it means to keep your word, which I would start to cry. My goodness.
We've got tissues, it's okay.
My mom, who really taught me about, she is not a very vocal person herself, but she is such a hard worker and is incredibly disciplined, and has taught me about being brave as she moves through her various challenges in life. And then my sister, who is my other half of my brain, went the path of becoming a physician, and we speak every day. She is a tremendous human being, and those are the people that when I'm feeling like I can't do it, I turn to them, and they reassure me and support me emotionally, physically, all of those things. I'm so incredibly grateful for them.
Where did you get your intuition from?
I think my grandmother on my mom's side. I'm pretty sure she was a psychic.
No, I had that sense. I feel it. So I felt like I had to ask.
Yeah, I think. My sister's also really intuitive and uses that in her medicine practice with patients. Helps her, especially families and patients that are near the end. She's very, very gifted at leading them to a place of safety and acceptance, which I feel like, as far as voices go, is a pretty good use of one.
Yeah.
I'm gonna cry.
That's good. That's good.
Please, Casey.
No, I honestly, my answer is very similar. My mother and my father, my brother as well, but grew up in a family of very joyful communicators and joyful users of their voices. My mom and my dad and I sang together, Von Trapp style. It was supremely dorky, but it was also so joyous. I learned what voices do when they sing together in harmony, and I learned what voices can do to affect change and to inspire people and to bring people together in a community. My father directed choirs when I was a kid, and still does sometimes. And my parents are also. I joke that they have volunteer stamped on their foreheads. They are such instigators of and bringers together of people and around causes. So everything that I was ever involved in school, they were immediately like the president of the booster club or whatever, and then they revolutionized the booster club and made lots of money for the booster club. They know how to bring communities together. They know how to inspire people, and they know how to demand the best both from themselves and from the people that they're working with, but not in a way that's like, you do your stuff. It's full of joy. It really is. It's inviting, and it's. I think that if Julie's gift is her intuition, I think my gift is my ability to inspire people and to make them feel like they can do anything. To make them feel like they can step out on the stage and take the moment. And I learned that from watching my parents, really. And then in addition to that, and I know Julie shares this answer, so I'll just say it for both of us, the community of women that we have recently become a part of as entrepreneurs, and the women that we've met at the various conferences that we've spoken at, and the entrepreneur community in New York City, Dreamers and Doers, these women are so generous, and they're so supportive of each other, and
so freaking interesting.
So interesting.
Oh my God.
They're fascinating. They're like you just soak up inspiration from what they're doing in the world and what they believe in and what they want to see grow and change in the world, and that's just amazing.
Yeah. So we're doing the Lightstyle interview series. What to you means Lightstyle?
Now I'm thinking.
I'm watching the wheels turn. It's good. I think it's everything that we've been talking about today of different ways of looking at how people can shine their lights in the world, that we can let go of the idea of how we're supposed to do things or how we're supposed to show up in the world, and show up in the world in the way that feels right to us and that feels authentic in a real way.
I think authentic, and then extending that to embracing all of your quirks and all of the things that you think are something that you need to either sand down or smooth out, generally become the thing that can really be your power. So stop trying to erase them.
Yes, totally.
Live them.
Erase the erasers.
Erase the erasers. Yes.
Throw them out.
I love it. Thank you so much for sharing that. That's beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Of course,
This
my
is
pleasure.
awesome.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure shining a light on you guys, and you're so inspiring. So how can people get in touch with you if they want to embrace their voices and speech?
We have vitalvoicetraining.com, our website, and vitalvoicetraining@gmail.com. We do free 15-minute consultations to talk to people. We feel like we want to make sure it's a good match on both sides. The way we work is effective, but it's not for everyone. If you're really looking for a formula, we don't
do
offer that.
formulas. We don't do tips and tricks.
Well,
Yeah.
there is some skill involved.
It's more that there's just no. It's not a 10-step program. Yeah. It's not we're going to teach you, how to hit your mark and raise your hand on this word and do this exact perfect thing with your sentence. It's deeper, and it's more interesting, and it's messier, and it's more effective.
Yes.
Amazing.
Yep.
I might just sign up.
Well, come
yes.
on, work with
Come
us.
on, yeah.
Like a little women-female tribe.
Good.
Voices being lit up.
Mm.
Well, Casey and Julie, thank you so much. I truly appreciate you guys being here. If you guys like this episode of the Lifestyle Interview Series, please share it with your friends and family, and don't forget to hit subscribe.